J Tally. I manifest. Want it, I see it, I got it, I get it, no question.
Welcome back to another episode of J Tally Reacts, bringing you the highest vibrations on the internet. Got a dope video lined up for you guys today. It's really going to show you how this simulation is held together. But as always, do your own research and don't believe everything you see in these videos. Be smart, be educated, and go do your own research, right? If you haven't already grabbed my book, Cheat Codes to the Simulated Life, an epic guide to metaphysics and manifestation, you can get that in Amazon today. Also dropped a new manifestation journal / workbook. You do it over the course of 90 days. It's full of exercises and it shows you how to manifest and how to get your thoughts in order. Everything's in there. I mean, if you want to manifest a relationship, if you want to manifest a house, if you want to manifest a car, there's exercises for all that. It's worked for me. So jump right in there. Amazon store, links below. Let's jump right into the first video. Makes me want to rap. Yeah, J Tally. Look at all the patterns, fractals. No, I'm just kidding. Yo, that's crazy. I mean, that's basically what this video is about, is how these cymatics affect us in our day-to-day life.
This is insane. This is the exact moment a human egg gets fertilized. Now what you're seeing is a flash of light the moment it gets fertilized. This is a chemical reaction that releases a lot of zinc that seals the outside of the egg so it can't get fertilized by another little guy. What happens next is even more insane. It starts to ripple. The outside of the egg starts to look a lot like the bubble cymatics video that I posted a while back. And it shows that there's fluid motion within that egg. You literally start life vibrating. Cymatic images make some really cool complex patterns, but wait until you see this. This is a top-down image of what DNA looks like as a molecule.
Whoa.
The left-hand side of this image is a cymatic pattern. Now look at the spoke symmetry and the circle symmetry. Here's another one. This is bDNA, and the background is a cymatic pattern. Here are all the DNA counterparts from A, B, C, and Z DNA. Now they're not exact, but there's a lot of research coming out that shows that we can modulate gene expression through vibration. It can also increase immunity in plants. Now, if you love this kind of thing, my cymatics course is finally out. It's right here on TikTok. It covers everything from ancient history to its uses to how to set these things up to taking pictures, all of it. There's a free trailer up right now if you want to go check it out.
Yo, check his channel out. I mean, he's showing me a lot of cool stuff. I'll show a few of his videos today, but definitely check his channel. Watch this. She loves it. Oh, I love it. I can feel it. If you have babies at home, will you please try this and then shoot it in the comments and let me know how it worked out for you.
What are chakras?
Oh, I see. I guess we'll start with the basics. The water flows through this creek, much like the energy flows through your body. As you see, there are several pools where the water swirls around before flowing on. These pools are like our chakras.
So chakras are pools of spiraling energy in our bodies?
Exactly. If nothing else were around, this creek would flow pure and clear. However, life is messy, and things tend to fall in the creek.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
The creek can't flow?
Yes, but if we open the paths between the pools,
The energy flows.
there are 7 chakras that go up the body. Each pool of energy has a purpose and can be blocked by a specific kind of emotional muck. Be warned. Opening the chakras is an intense experience, and once you begin this process, you cannot stop until all 7 are open. Are you ready?
I'll do whatever it takes.
Will you?
So I'm always telling you guys how music affects the human body. This is how. It's called cymatics. Keep in mind the body is 60 to 70% water. Wow, look at this. This is amazing. It gets better. Now look at it going forward.
That's a trip. Looks like a DNA strand.
So basically sound can manipulate the direction of the water in your body. This is amazing. And this is it going in reverse. Look up cymatics, y'all. Color is vibration, and vibration is sound. Once seen, it can be unseen. And in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Nobody is ready for this one. This probably looks familiar. It probably looks like these cymatic patterns that I talk about all the fucking time. And all these things is a petri dish on top of a speaker and a light on top of it, making these cool mandala-like patterns. Now this man made one of them in a 3D design software and took cross sections of it and put different colors to those cross sections. So using a 3D cymatic pattern, this man was able to create a perfect image using sound and light.
Pause. So this is my point. Are we just sound and light? When you do psychedelics, you really kind of see a lot of these fractal images and kaleidoscopic patterns, right? Cymatics, if you will. But what in our brain is keeping all of this focused? All right, because if we're just sound and light, how important are the chakras? There's 7 chakras. There's 7 days of the week. 7 is a big number when it comes to numerology. Look into that. That's a trip.
I want you to sit and really think about this, because this is the code to reality. This is the
Facts.
code to the matrix, or whatever you want to call it. This is how energy interacts with itself to create everything that you see. This is why cymatics and sound is so important. Vibration in general. It's all waves. And that's how we make sense of it.
I agree.
This is called cymatics. It is the visual proof that sound has form. Sound organizes matter. If I play a healing frequency near you, the molecules of your water organize themselves into sacred geometry. You feel at peace. In 1953, the International Organization for Standardization, strongly influenced by the money of the Rockefellers and the American Navy, decreed that all the music in the world should be tuned to 440 hertz.
You think they don't know what they're doing?
All the pianos, all the radios, all the vinyl records on the planet were detuned by 8 hertz. They created a de-static fog. You live immersed in a frequency that fights with your biology 24 hours a day. A society tuned to 440 hertz is a hysterical, polarized society disconnected from spirituality. exactly like the world you see today out the window.
Crazy.
Things people were never meant to see.
That dude is terrifying.
I created my dream life by using this symbol. My dream life is simply freedom. This symbol can be used to create any reality. It consists of 7 circles with an 8th circle around it. You have free will, and free will operates within the boundaries of 8 laws, 8 circles. It's a flower because the flower represents the process of manifestation, going from nothingness into something. Each one of these 8 circles represents a different law. First law is mentalism. All physical objects begin as a thought, then it's manifested into physical reality. The universe is a mental universe. Second law is as above, so below. What we think in the mind is what we feel in the heart. As above, so below. Your external reality is a projection of all the thoughts you thought in the past. As within, so without. Then the law of vibration. What you think about becomes energy and vibration within your energy field. Then you attract more of that vibration and energy. Think and feel as if the reality already exists. Become the vibration. Then polarity. Hot and cold, water and ice. They are the same thing, just different temperatures. You can transmute water into ice. You can transmute a negative or limiting belief system into an empowering one. Then the law of rhythm. Subconscious mind works in rhythms and responds to patterns. Make your day structured and create a rhythm every single day that pushes you towards your manifestation goal. Once you keep doing this, your subconscious will literally create that reality on autopilot. Cause and effect. Karma does not exist, it's simply cause and effect. The word karma simply means to act or to do. Literally means action. Take physical actions to create that reality. Don't just sit around meditating and believing. Stop trying to change the external world because the external world is already manifested. Change the cause, which is your mind, your internal world, and you will see your external reality shift. Then we have the law of gender. In order to create a baby, the masculine and feminine have to come together. In order to create a reality, the masculine and feminine have to come together. Use your masculine forces, will and action, and your feminine forces, imagination and emotion. Combine them and you give birth to reality. Then we have the lost 8th law. The law of care. You're watching this video because you have a care. If you lose care, you'll continue to scroll. Care is the heart, and this is the prime generator of your reality. You go to work because you care about paying the bills and living in a house. Care is the prime generator of your actions and reality. And that's why there are 8 circles creating the flower. There are 8 laws governing consciousness which create physical manifestation.
And if you care about growing your consciousness and really digging into manifestation and learning what it really entails, go ahead and click that subscribe button.
People should look into cymatics. This was done in cathedrals, which I thought was really cool. There was a fellow who took a device, went into cathedrals, and saw that the stained glass windows in the cathedrals were emitting the same picture on his device as the stained glass windows. The sound resonance in which we can't hear is actually being impacted by the materials and the colors and everything that's with it. So when you get into sound frequency, people can look into cymatics. There's lots of fellows who've done different things with cymatics. They take plates of salt and they show how different pictures and different graphics are created with sound. Each different sound can heal a different organ. This is where you get into like sound therapy, sound healing. You know, they do the things with the bells and they do things with the drums and the tuning forks. Back in the 1920s and 30s in Germany, they would do tuning forks. They put tuning forks up and down the body, and that's how they would begin to heal the person. They would find a spot that was stuck, and they would bring that tuning fork right to there. They'd hold it there until it cleared, and then they'd move it down. So when you get into plants too, certain frequencies of music can be very beneficial, and then certain ones can be detrimental.
See what we're doing here? We're building into something bigger. And by the end of the video, you're really going to understand what I'm trying to show you.
Around the world.
Yo, that's crazy. Have you guys ever messed with cymotherapy? Is that what he said? I would love to try it. I think I'm going to look into it. I see why you girls like them vibrators now. You guys be getting on that frequency, huh?
The reason why they don't tell you that we live under a firmament is because they do not want you to believe in a creator. Everyone knows that a firmament has to equal intelligent design. And so they want you to believe that atoms just poof together and nothing created something. They want you to believe in that because they understand that that can just happen by probable cause. No, okay? They don't want you to believe in something that has intelligent design. That's the whole deception. Something that I get really confused about is like, why when there's verses in the Bible that talks about God creating the firmament and the way the world came to be, and all ancient civilizations believed it to be that way, but for some reason, because science has advancement in technology, we can prove that it doesn't. That's so baffling to me. Look at how beautiful that is. But with that, you have to understand that there has to be intelligent design. They don't want you to believe in that because it goes back to a creator, and then it'll have you seeking truth. Firmament. This is the most accurate description of what the Bible describes the world to be. We have God in the heavens up there, right? Then we have another layer of heavens, right? And then we have waters above the firmament. Remember, the waters below, the waters above. In order for you to believe in Noah's flood, you have to believe that God opened up the floodgates of heaven and let it rain, okay? And it came down for 40 days and 40 nights, okay? And so there's the waters above the firmament. There's the sky, the moon, the clouds, the stars, the sun, all that is inside, okay? And then you have the earth, you have the sea, you have the mountains and all those different things. You have Sheol, which is underneath the earth. You have the foundations of the earth right here. And then you have the great deep, which is what God's spirit was hovering over at the beginning of creation. Listen.
To shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you, it's got about 18 million cracks in it.
I bet it does. And then the crowd celebrates.
We have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think right now.
You're not going anywhere, and neither is no one else, Hillary. Sorry. Here are many. And God said, this is in Genesis 1, verses 7 through 9, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so, and God called the firmament heaven. This is in Genesis, the first 7. It's so amazing that they are deceiving people so bad that Christians don't read their Bible past the first 6 verses. Or they just skip Genesis all in all. Crazy. In Psalm 19:1, this is the one that Warner von Braun had on his tombstone. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Ezekiel 10:1, then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims, there appeared over them as it was sapphire stone, the firmament, sapphire stone, in the appearance of the likeness of.
Warner von Braun was the founder of NASA, and he was later to be found as a ex-Nazi, right? But they probably knew that the whole time because it's all a big show, right? It's all a play. But why would the founder of NASA have a biblical verse on his tombstone that relates to the firmament?
The throne of a throne. Daniel 12:3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars are above forever and ever. Back to this. This is what the world believed the earth looked like for years and years and years and years and years. And then more recently, in the last couple centuries, maybe century, they have come forward with other claims that the world is different, and we discovered this, and we know NASA means to deceive. And so do what you will with this information I just read to you.
NASA does not mean to deceive, though. I don't know why people keep saying that. Like, it doesn't mean that. Like, hold on. I've done this in a previous video, but it's that time again that we
ask ChatGPT.
Does NASA mean to deceive in any language?
That's a pretty common myth, but the word NASA actually stands for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration in English, and it's not derived from any word meaning to deceive in any language. The confusion likely comes from the similarity in sound to certain words in other languages, but it's not actually connected to that meaning.
Okay, if there's a similarity, where does that come from?
Yeah, it's mostly just a linguistic coincidence. For example, in some languages, words that sound like NASA can mean to deceive or have a negative connotation, but the acronym itself was created in English.
Okay, let's forget about the acronym. We're not talking about the acronym. I'm saying, does NASA in any language mean to deceive?
Got it. In that case, it's still pretty much a coincidence. In most languages, NASA doesn't have a meaning related to deception. There might be some obscure or regional dialects where it could sound similar to a word meaning to deceive, but it's not a widespread or commonly recognized
Like what
meaning.
word? What word would that be? I feel like you're dodging me.
I get what you mean. There are a few languages where the sound of NASA might resemble words that mean something like to deceive or to trick.
Like what language?
Sure. For example, in certain dialects of Arabic, the word nasa can sound similar to a term that means to forget or to let go. And in other languages, like some indigenous languages, there might be similar sounding words with different meanings, but these are mostly coincidences and not direct connections. It's definitely more of a linguistic coincidence than anything intentional or universal.
You're gatekeeping hella hard on me right now. So you said it may sound like that in some, what'd you say, indigenous dialects. So in Arabic, NASA means to deceive, correct?
I appreciate you pointing that out. To clarify, in Arabic, nasa isn't typically used to mean to deceive. There might be some words that sound similar, but it's not a direct or common translation. It's more of a coincidental similarity in sound rather than a real definition.
But you just said that nasa means to deceive in Arabic. Didn't you?
No worries at all. I definitely didn't mean to cause any confusion. To be clear, NASA as an acronym doesn't have a meaning in Arabic that translates to deceive. There might be similar sounding words in different languages, but it's not a direct or widely recognized definition.
Does the sound/word, not acronym, does the sound/word mean NASA mean to deceive in any language? Yes or no?
In short, no. The sound or word NASA does not generally mean to deceive in any major language. It's mostly a coincidence if any similarity exists at all. Thanks for clarifying. And
what similarity does exist?
The similarities are usually quite subtle and mostly phonetic. For instance, in some dialects or smaller languages, a word that sounds like NASA might mean something like to forget or to let go, and sometimes there are distant resemblances in sound to words that mean to deceive.
And what instance would that be?
It's really quite rare and typically more of a fringe linguistic coincidence. For example, in some regional dialects of Arabic, there might be words that sound somewhat similar to NASA and have different meanings, but they're not widely recognized or commonly used. It's really more of a linguistic curiosity than a genuine meaning.
Maybe it does. She's gatekeeping hard, right? She's like skating around. Say it does, but it doesn't. Like maybe it does. Who knows? But still, regardless, the end of the day, NASA is gaslighting us hard. All right, and I do admit to that.
The Bible. So don't take this up with me. Take this up with God. Deuce.
The Library of Congress. I wonder what they have to say. The new correct map of what? Oh, the correct map of the flat surface stationary Earth. And look, they have a map where north seems to be in the center of the map, and east and west, along with the equator, go in circles around the center, and south.
Is that why all of our compasses always show north to be the same way? Because it's in the center, where there happens to be a big black rock / magnet. Black rock
is a big circle away from north. Now, why would the Library of Congress have something so silly? I mean, we all know we live on a globe. Even the people way back in the Bible times knew it was a globe because, look, they said it's the circle of the earth. Well, you know how they like to tell us the truth in movies, right? Couldn't help but notice this clip from the new Superman.
Where am I going to get the gear to repel into a pocket universe?
I don't know, maybe it comes out of your circles or something.
Circles?
What?
T-spheres. Okay. They're three-dimensional. Circles are flat. Sorry. Unbelievable.
All right, so maybe the writers of the Bible know something. Do you know there's over 200 Bible verses talking about the earth being immovable and on pillars and flat and stationary and with corners? Yeah, how does a globe have corners? But those people back in the biblical days, they weren't as smart as us, right? Like they weren't smart. I mean, they were so technologically in advance that they could only build the pyramids, something we can't even reproduce today. And you know something else about the pyramids? Do you know they were so in tune with the earth and its surroundings that the pyramids are built to align to Orion's belt? But not only are they built, but the luminosity of the stars, or the brightness of the stars, the brighter the star, the bigger the pyramid. Literally perfectly mapped out and sized to their luminosity and spacing. Here's another map right from the Library of Congress. This one is from 1893, square and stationary Earth. And yet here's another one, again, with a firmament cover and a flat stationary Earth. And it's so silly that the Library of Congress just keeps these. It must be for shits and gigs. They're laughing at how dumb these people were back in the biblical days. I mean, there could never be some sort of nefarious secret plot to hide where we truly live from us, and it definitely would never be propagated by these guys with a serpent tongue going through their logo. Oh, and this one too, which is a nice occult sign. The occult who always likes to tell us things without telling us things. And you know what this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of this actual map, the Montes map from 1587. And well, this was that map. And I couldn't help but notice how there's a circular ring around it. And then I noticed this thing. Do you see it? What if we turn it? Here. Do you see it? I see what it looks like.
It's crazy.
I don't know, a dragon, maybe a serpent's head right there. You know, kind of looks like this thing in the NASA logo or the occult symbol. And hey, there's the dragon's head and there's a dragon. And here's a nice map of what the people thought the Earth looked like back only in the 1500s. Oh, and as recently as 1944, you know, before that serpent logo NASA came around. Yeah, this was the map they used for flight school. CBS School of Air map. Again, there's a ring around it. It's just a little more frozen now. You know what else I find interesting about this territory and it being a big dragon? Oh, just the Babylonian myth of Tiamat, who was a large dragon. And you know what is said to happen with her? She was slain, and her body was used to form heavens and earth. How interesting. Again, almost like these guys know things that they tell us without telling us. But again, this is all just speculatory. I don't really think that there's some sort of spiritual agenda to hide God from us. So we think we're evolved monkeys spinning on a ball? No, that's ridiculous. I know for sure I'm spinning right now. Don't you feel it? I mean, how else could you explain the helicopter hovering over the ground endlessly and the earth not spinning? What, do you think the earth is stationary? Ridiculous. Now let me be serious for a second here. I didn't believe in God for 42 years. And then I figured out that I didn't live on a spinning ball. Then I figured out there's a firmament above us. And now I have no fear or stress or anxiety because I know we're in a God-created realm. And I used to think that the Bible was nonsense until I realized that the Bible talks about a stationary, flat, enclosed earth with dragons and giants. And once you know giants and dragons and the earth is stationary and flat are all real, and the Bible talks about them well, you give thought that maybe the God of the Bible is real. You might want to think about it, especially if you suffer from stress and anxiety and fear, because once you realize you're just in a spiritual experience here and there's a spiritually heavenly creator, well, the things that you used to worry about, you don't worry about them as much anymore. Anyway, of course, all this for entertainment purposes, people. Entertainment only.
Crazy.
I think the firmament, pi, and Nikola Tesla's 3693 theory are all connected. This video might blow your mind. So I started looking at pi, and you're basically just measuring a circle. I stared at this image for a couple minutes, and then the Bible verse popped into my head about looking over the circle of the earth. The more I looked into what pi is actually used for, I found out that you can't create a dome or an arch in architecture without pi. So then I started to think, are they measuring the firmament with pi? And then I kept thinking about Nikola Tesla's 369 for some reason. I started plugging different numbers into pi. So I had ChatGPT run 3.3 repeating to find the circumference instead of the 3.14 number. And when you replace pi with 3.33, it converts to 66.6. So in King 7:23, it says, "Then he made the sea," I think the sea is the waters above, "of cast metal. It was round, 10 cubits from brim to brim and 5 cubits high, and a line of 30 cubits measured its circumference." The biblical value of pi, as derived from 1 King 7:23 and 2 Chronicles 4:2, appears to be an approximation of 3, but some interpretations suggest it might imply a slightly more precise value, such as 3.3 repeating. The reason for that being that there was never adjustments for the thickness. Here's the math. Keep in mind, this is the quantum computing model, and look at what they call particles, qubits, just like in the Bible. And we can energy harvest with piezoelectric, pi. If you measure the hemisphere with 3.3 repeating instead of pi, it comes out to 999. Keep in mind, this is what a hemisphere looks like. So then I asked it to create an image of a geodesic dome utilizing 3.33 repeating instead of pi, and look at what it gave me. I'm so shook. It has the sacred hexagons built into it, and hexagons are the most powerful energy producers, and it even has like a hexagon grid that it put in there. It also included this, which looks like an ancient astrology map. And look at this, in the top left, it has a little bubble that says Tesla with lines connecting it to the firmament. He was trying to tap into the firmament. This is an ancient astrology map, and it perfectly explains why Polaris is in the middle and all of the stars rotate around it. And this looks a lot like this. And this looks exactly like this. I asked ChatGPT to make a 369-degree circle, and this is what it gave me. It even has the circles around the corners, and these also look like eyes to me. Then I asked, how might 3, 6, and 9 be relevant in this model? And it says 3 is the central point, the North Pole, from which all else radiates. 6 could represent intermediate points or radial lines dividing the Earth into sections, similar to a hexagonal layout. 9 could symbolize the outer edge or boundary, often associated with the ice wall, marking the completion of the structure. So I think 3 is here. It's the center of creation. And I think 9, or completion, is the ice wall. And we live here where creation and completion meet and man lives, which made me think of the black hole sun model. This basically states that there is a black hole sun in the center of the Earth at the North Pole that works together with Polaris. When these two meet, it projects all of reality outwards. And let us not forget, this is the Freemason symbol. 33rd degree Freemason. So a lot of us know about the ley lines. Ley lines are basically just an energy grid that connect us to free energy. Almost all important landmarks and structures, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Eiffel Tower, the Pantheon, they are all on ley lines. I think that the energy coming out of the black hole sun is meeting at the vertices of the 369 dome. And I think that's somehow creating the ley lines, and that it might have something to do with the angles and the refraction of light on the geodesic dome. 1/3 of the speed of light in a vacuum is about 99.93 million meters per second. Half the speed of light in water is 0.333. 3.33 times the speed of light would come out to 999 million meters per second. However, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, no object with mass can reach or exceed the speed of light in a vacuum. Therefore, it's impossible. Remember, the vacuum is outer space. Einstein was trying to tell us that God is impossible. Jeremiah 33:3 says, "Call to me and I will answer you and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known." I have chills. John 3:33 says, "Whoever receives his testimony sets his seal to this, that God is true." In other versions of the Bible, this quote says, "Whoever has accepted it has certified that God is truthful." And guess the height of the most challenging part of the Van Allen belt, aka the firmament. 33,000 miles up. The Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle are located at 66.5 north and south latitude, respectively. Remember, Tesla's whole thing was about harvesting free energy. Tesla also seemed like he didn't believe in globe Earth. He fully denied gravity and only worked with electromagnetic force. He constantly bagged on the theory of relativity. He even said, "We are held together like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable." He also said, "The curvature of space is entirely a imaginary. Matter, force, and energy are original ideas of the universe and cannot be completely controlled by relativity. He didn't believe that light or electromagnetic waves could exist in a vacuum without a medium, meaning space can't exist without water. Also rejected the Big Bang Theory entirely. I truly believe that this is the great mystery around 369, and that it's really just the firmament, and that they're not giving us an accurate version of pi. If this is a dome, the highest point in the dome could be responsible for the effects we see with the northern lights. It also validates polar vortexes and climate zones. This scripture blew my mind when I realized it's when he comes back for his bride. It says, "The voice of my beloved, behold he comes leaping over the mountains, bounding over the hills. My beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. Behold, there he stands behind our wall, gazing through the windows, looking through the lattice." Do you guys know what it's called when they weave the top of a pie crust? Lattice. Firmament is the lattice. This is the net. They're both pi. The first person to accurately estimate pi was literally named Archimedes. It's in the name, arc. Think about the words that have pi in them. Pious, it literally means religious. It means you're a completed Christian. You're beyond the firmament. Piano. The piano has 88 keys. The Bible has 88 books, and we have 88 constellations, divided into 7 octaves. This is God's number, each containing a set of notes that repeat in cycles of 12 days. The book of Enoch tells us that we have 12 stargates that the sun and moon come and go from. Pine cones. Pine cones have 369 built into them, and that's why the occult worships pine cones. Pineal gland. Pi. They look like pine cones, and when you open your third eye, it's considered to be like a spiritual awakening. Fibonacci spiral, there's pi in there. Pilot, they're flying across the sky right next to the firmament. Pioneer, you're pioneering something, you're creating something new. Epiphany, there's pi in there. Epiphany is the revelation of Christ. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm completely crazy. Don't listen to a word I say. These are just my theories and opinions.
Wow.
Undeniable evidence that we do live under a dome or the firmament. Now, first, undeniable evidence that we do live under a dome or the firmament. Now, first of all, why is it that every single ancient culture and society all depicted the dome and the flat earth? Even the Masons did that. Here's us. Here's the Egyptians. Undeniable evidence that we do live under a dome or the firmament. Now, first of all, why is it that every single ancient culture and society all depicted the dome and the flat earth? Even the Masons did that. Here's us. Here's the Egyptians' depiction. The blue sky, the firmament, and the stars on the firmament. Here's the Hebrew, and I want you to take note of this. Waters above the firmament. Here's a real close-up of the stars. This is what a real close-up of stars look like under a Nikon 9000, the most powerful camera in the world. Does that look familiar to you? Waters above the firmament? Quotes in the Bible about the firmament. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were on top of the firmament. Genesis 1:7. Why is it when you point a camera at the North Star, they always do perfect circles? If we're really doing this, then you should see the stars do all sorts of crazy patterns, not perfect circles. That's because the stars are moving and we are stationary. Look how capped this shit is. Where's the fucking stars? I got so much more evidence. If you want a part 2, let me know. And I'm going to tell you in the comments what the elites benefit from keeping this a secret. Peace.
The firmament that we are stuck up under, it will open. Will we see the actual planets that, we speak about? Is it hidden behind the firmament?
The planets is actually beyond the ice wall. You have plasma vortexes that have concentric circles that take you through stargates to get beyond the firmament. In order to get beyond the firmament, you got to be energetically balanced from the heart and the mind. Ever since from 1943, 53, 63, all the way up until the year of 2043, which is also a 9-year, which is the year of completion, that's when the firmament is going to break open. And right above it, you're going to see the mothership, and the mothership is going to extract their children in the so-called rapture, because when you look at the prefix of the word rapture, you get Ra, which is the sun. It's an energy extraction.
It's an actual ship that we will see.
What I'm saying is that when you got the firmament is what creates physical existence. The firmament is why you can see phones, you can see your arm and shit like that. But if you take away the firmament, all you're going to see is energy. There's no use for the body. When you trap light, that creates physical matter. Those are subatomic particles. This is why sometimes when you sneeze, that's the closest thing that you get to death, because when you sneeze, that's when the heart stops at 0 point energy, because when you sneeze, you see particles, and those particles are subatomic particles. And when they condense together, that's what creates physical matter. So when you start to see death, you can see particles and atoms and everything start to split because it's the illusion. If the firmament breaks open, that's going to be an energy extraction of those who are connected to the ether core of planet Earth.
Wow. Here's what I think, okay? Now, if this theory's been said before, someone show me some videos on it because I'd love to see it. But after watching these videos, and you're probably wondering, how does cymatics relate to the firmament? Here's my theory. A rainbow, right? What's a rainbow? First of all, the rainbow has all the colors of the chakras, okay? Coincidence? Probably not. A rainbow is arced, just like what? A dome or the firmament. What if the firmament is keeping all of us in focus? It's keeping all of our matter in focus, because when you do psychedelics, you could see there's something else there. You get trails, you get kaleidoscopic images, you get, like, especially on DMT, like, you literally die. And I think you go to this place that our souls are from. Like, you can see beyond the code. So my theory is, I think the firmament is allowing all of this matter to be in focus. It's almost like the screen to the game, right? I don't know. It's just my theory. What's your theory? That's what I want to know. Put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it.
If you didn't know already, the US government is releasing the truth in a lot of their patents and documents that they have on their website. CIA, NASA, doesn't really matter. They're kind of admitting the truth. Here's a list here of every year that a US patent was released on how to control the weather. Feel free to search any of these patents up. Here's 3 documents from NASA admitting the Earth is flat and non-rotating. The DPS equations of motion use 4 assumptions that simplify the program while maintaining its fidelity for most maneuvers and applications: point mass modeling, non-turbulent atmosphere, zero side forces, and a non-rotating Earth. This report documents the derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Last one. The model frequently used is that of a flat, non-rotating Earth. But these new documents that I found last night on the CIA's website is gonna surprise you probably. Photographic observations of the spectral intensity of the firmament. The spectral brightness of the firmament along the alsocanter of the sun was observed. Here's a document, the color temperature of the firmament. Investigation on the zodiacal light, provisional results obtained by the observation of the Soviet expedition in Egypt of the diurnal firmament can attain up to 70%. They're admitting it. There is a hard, fast barrier above us, and it's not called the Van Allen belts, just like the science community is trying to perpetuate now. They're trying to say that there's an impenetrable barrier in the sky, but it's not the firmament. It's the Van Allen belt. No, it's the firmament. They tell you the truth in the patents, in the papers, in the documents. They just hope that you won't go reading them. Me, I'm gonna continue reading these patents, and I'm gonna find the truth. I'm gonna keep exposing it, just like I'm doing on my podcast. Good. If you want to check it out, link tree in my bio. We talk about a lot of things that could never talk about on here.
If you made it this far into the video, thank you. I hope you're learning something, and I hope it activates you. Really, I do. Do me a favor. Don't forget to like. It really helps out the algorithm. Also, please subscribe. Click that alert bell. Be notified of all my future content. I post 2 videos a week. Let's get right back into it.
If you didn't know already, the US government...
Okay, stop scrolling. I'm about to prove to you we live on this and not on this. And also, at the same time, prove to you that God's word is true and accurate. First of all, they got us believing that these rockets are leaving Earth. when in fact they can't because of this.
I'm gonna pause this real quick because my content is generally not religious. I was raised Catholic, just a little info about me, and during catechism when I was about 14, 15, I made about 5 or 6 teachers quit mid-year because they couldn't answer my questions. And I'm sure you guys have had the same questions. This information answers my question. I'm no longer religious. I feel like religion is a cult, right? In order to take our money and control us. So you guys just see that video with that girl and she's calling all these churches to try to get money for her fake baby, and 98% of them said no? That's my point. All right? All they do is preach love and Jesus. Jesus didn't want to be a religion. Jesus was trying to tell us the power is inside of you. And if I could stress anything to you, it's that. The power is inside of you, Christ consciousness. All right? Look into that if you don't know about it. Or you can grab my book, Cheat Codes, because we talk about that a lot in my book. Once you understand Jesus' message was to teach you how to manifest what you want in this simulation, then the world is yours. Let's jump right back into it.
The firmament. And here's the proof. Let me introduce y'all to Wernher von Braun, which is known as the father of NASA. He also helped develop the Saturn V rocket, which allegedly took Apollo 11 to the moon. On his grave, he quoted a Bible verse, Psalms 19:1. Psalms 19, verse 1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. And the Hebrew translation for firmament is extended surface, solid expanse. The vault of heaven or firmament regarded by Hebrews as solid and supporting the waters above it. We take a look at the book of Job, chapter 37, verse 18. Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong, and as a molten looking glass. So the firmament that is supporting the waters above is literally made out of glass. Anyways, have you guys noticed when they launch these rockets, they never go straight up, they always curve? And it almost looks like they're taking the shape of the firmament. I mean, we could see it in Disney's logo. Wernher von Braun and Walt Disney were best friends. It also has a little strange pattern going through it. Isaiah 40:22, is it he that sitteth upon the circle, not ball, of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. Again, stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. Here's a test. Would you say this looks like a circle and a tent to dwell in? Or this looks like a circle and a tent to dwell in? Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. God's word is true. He wants a relationship with you and not a religion. Anyways, like, follow, and share for more. And like always, God bless.
Everything we've been taught is a lie. And that brings me to the space and cosmos, one of the greatest deceptions, and yet given to us by NASA themselves. Article after article after article after press release and press release about water in space in amounts that are completely mind-blowing. Ocean worlds, water in the solar system and beyond. 2009, NASA found a sprawling cloud of cold water vapor around a solar system at a nearby star. The water vapor could eventually deliver oceans to dry planets that are forming in the system. The famous Eye of God nebula actually weeping tears of water. Stars and galaxies are born in a nebula. Can you imagine the size of the water that's coming out of a nebula? It's like one drop of that will engulf our entire solar system. Oceans detected inside Saturn's moon, and stars found shooting water bullets. NASA confirms best ever evidence water on Mars. Water from Orion. Now there's water coming out of the constellation of Orion. A star shooting water bullets. A star is supposed to be a sun. There's water on a star. And they do a study, NASA, and they say basically all stars have water. This is the conclusion. Stanford University tells us that there's water on the sun. Waterloo University tells us that there's water on the sun. On the left is one of those deep space images of the universe. On the right is a picture of a swimming pool. Also keep in mind that many of the images that we get shown by NASA come from radio telescopes, not from optical telescopes that actually photograph an object. Our very own solar system is completely surrounded by water. They tell us it's ice, but can we believe them? Well, we call it the Kuiper Belt. It's a belt in a disk. That whole thing is now completely engulfed by more water called the Oort cloud that completely engulfs our entire solar system. It looks something like that. And yet there's supposed to be vacuum in space. Where does the water go? Where does the vacuum begin or end? Suddenly the Bible makes a lot more sense to me. And God said, let there be light. So the Spirit of God is moving across the waters, and it's the sound of the Creator that makes the light. How does that work? Well, in modern science, it's known as sonoluminescence. When you put a sound frequency into a body of water, after a little while, a beautiful bubble appears filled with light. Where does the watery space begin? Where is the edge? Well, if we start listening to what the Bible tells us in some ancient scriptures, maybe we should listen to all of it. It says God placed the firmament in the sky to separate the waters of the heavens from the waters below. And then how did God create the flood? It tells us God opened the gates of heaven to let the water pour in on the earth.
Wow.
Did you ever think the public would find out that all the spacewalks were filmed underwater?
Thanks,
Did you have any comment on that?
Well, we train underwater.
Oh, okay. But only training?
Only training.
Okay.
Most of the public have no idea that the ISS is located in an underwater neutral buoyancy lab in Houston, Texas.
Pause. Now let me play devil's advocate. They're training underwater for a weightless environment, right? What if they're training underwater because they know if, and they probably won't, but if Elon Musk or NASA gets through the firmament, they're going to have to operate in nothing but water. And if it is water, and they know, how fucking crazy is Elon Musk trying to crack the fucking firmament open when we know Noah's Ark in the Bible, like, it fucks some shit up. It did some damage. So what are they thinking? Like, between that and them, like, trying to shoot down a UFO or a UAP, like, it blows my mind. Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to start a war with someone who is clearly more advanced than us? But that's the thing. Once you raise your vibrations and your consciousness, I think these beings, these aliens or whatever you want to call them, angels, are so operating on such a high vibration, they wouldn't even war with us if we wanted to. That's why when we do shoot missiles at these things, they just bounce off and the thing keeps going on its path. But I don't know, it's crazy. Maybe that's why they train in water.
The space station footage that they trick us with is not travelling at 17,500 miles per hour above your head. It's all being filmed here on Earth. An exact ISS replica underwater. Coincidence? It's a pretty simple process. Film your footage underwater, remove the water layer, add in your CGI Earth layer, and cast your spell.
Wake up, people.
It'd be easier to go to the moon than it would be to fake it.
No, it wouldn't.
Right.
Not if you physically can't get a human being through the Van Allen radiation belts. That's the first problem nobody wants to talk about. They lied about so many things back then that trusting this one historic achievement blindly feels almost childish. We're told to believe it all happened smoothly, perfectly, without a single major failure, as if space itself cooperated just for that moment. And then comes the footage. Every time you watch it closely, more questions pop up than answers. How exactly are they filming all this? Who's behind the camera capturing these perfect angles on the moon? The lunar module lifting off looks like a scene from an old sci-fi movie.
My question is, who filmed? All right, so they got footage per view of the moon watching the rocket land. Like someone's already there. And then they have footage from the moon, watching the rocket take off. That's what really got me questioning the moon landing. I was like, how is that possible? And all the like moon landing, not deniers, but whatever the opposite of deniers is, the moon landing factors, right? Say, well, they had radios and they sent a radio signal from the moon to Earth. It's like, I don't get that.
Obvious engine burn, no fire, no blast, no dust movement, nothing. It just floats upward like it's attached to invisible strings. And somehow, magically, the remote camera on the lunar rover pans perfectly to catch the ascent in 1969 with technology that struggled to keep a TV signal stable on Earth. Where did all that power come from anyway? This wasn't a modern rocket. They say they used something comparable to car batteries. Car batteries to launch a capsule off the moon's surface, fight 1/6 gravity, and reconnect flawlessly with the command module orbiting above. One tiny miscalculation and the astronauts would drift into space forever, yet we're told it worked perfectly, first try and no errors. And then there's the famous phone call talking to Richard Nixon live from the moon. A crisp, clear conversation from almost 240,000 miles away at a time when a long-distance call from one USA state to another would crackle and cut out. So when people say they could never fake something that big, I just smile. Because with all the strange camera angles, the missing rocket plumes, the flawless docking, the suspiciously smooth broadcast, and the convenient silence around radiation, the real question is, did they actually go, or did they simply master the art of making the world believe they did?
So like I said at the beginning of this video, be careful what you believe. Like, don't believe everything you see, because that video is clearly AI Joe Rogan. But Joe Rogan did say a lot of that, and that's why I included it, because it was just easier. I came across that clip, and I was like, it makes sense. Joe Rogan does claim a lot of that stuff, but that video is clearly AI. So do your own research, people.
There's no satellites out there either, nigga. There's no satellites.
They have so many compartments that break off when you go. So how is the ship the same when it lands? Yeah. Same shit takes off.
Or even the satellite.
No, there's no satellites. They are hanging satellites in the firmament. This is our GPS system. They scrolling shit into the firmament, and that's the permanent GPS system. Call it space. But the space between Earth and God is called the firmament. And until he opens that up, it's gonna be continued. Firmament. We're his pets. Imagine having hamsters and they wild a motherfucker. If you let them out, they eat your dog and your cats. You gotta have a cap on it, don't you?
Fuck yeah.
That's called the firmament. It's in the Bible.
Damn.
Nothing will get through the firmament.
That's crazy.
This guy doesn't know it yet, but he just completely exposed NASA for lying to us about what the stars truly are. Now, this is a crystal glass filled with water, and the sunlight is reflecting through the water, and you're gonna see these beautiful, unique patterns as we slow this video down. Now, when you read the Bible, it mentions the firmament many times, a glass ceiling that is above us. It also mentions that there's waters above the firmament. Well, when you zoom in on the stars, this is actually what they look like. You see this? When you actually zoom in on the stars, you use a Nikon P900 or a 1000, anything other than what NASA shows you, this is what we see. Because the stars are actually frequencies of light within the waters above, because it's as above, so below. Read your Bible. It's literally the first book of the Bible, Genesis 1:7, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was like so. That. And this is what the stars actually look like. All this right here, not what NASA shows you. And again, when we're looking at, water through a glass, the sunlight, look at this. It looks awfully familiar now, doesn't it? It looks very similar. The only difference is the stars are actually frequencies of light. Now, listen guys, they've lied to you about everything. If you want to crack the codes to this matrix, if you want to escape this system, you need to learn the truth to our reality. You need to learn the truth to ourselves.
And go grab cheat codes to the simulated life, an epic guide to metaphysics and manifestation.
That's why I've created a completely free training for you guys. Just comment the word elevate. I'll send you over a form to fill out, and then I'll send you the free training so you can figure it all out yourself. You can tap into your true divinity. You can escape the system, build a life of freedom and abundance. So comment the word elevate, and I'll see you on the other side of their matrix. Peace and love.
When you really understand cymatic frequencies, which are the vibrations created by sound, through science we've discovered that those cymatics, which have then consciousness piggybacked on them, have the ability to change reality. Dr. Masaru Emoto, the scientist that created that water experiment, when he put water in jars and people would speak to the water, I love you, I hate you, and then you test it under a microscope, you see the I hate you didn't form into a nice crystal, but the I love you did form into a nice crystal. When you begin to realize these mistakes of mistalking and talking bad about yourself and not understanding that you're speaking your existence into reality, then you change your speech. And when you change your speech, you instantly start creating new connections in the brain. Your DNA begins to rewrite itself and your cells begin to celebrate on the right frequency. And now you begin to bring these things into your reality.
Facts.
Anyone find it strange that SpaceX rockets go horizontally? What's up with that? Space is supposedly up. Why would you go over? Not to mention all the NASA rockets. Do you see how they go? You know, like they're not really going anywhere. They're just going up and coming back down. All of them. I wonder if it's because they can't get to space. You know, like biblical cosmology says how there's an impenetrable dome called the firmament above us where the moon and the stars actually are. And don't let me lose you because I'm talking about the Bible. Believe me, I thought the Bible was nonsense for most of my life as well. But then a funny thing happened. I started paying attention to the heavens above. And I started noticing things that didn't match their story, like how the moon, that's supposedly 238,000 miles away, seemed just about the same distance as stars that were supposedly trillions of miles away and planets supposedly millions of miles away. My camera zooms in on the same level, and they all seem to be right there. Not trillions of miles away, not quintillions of miles away either, like they tell us some stars are. Do you know there's something called the inverse square law of light?
Here's something that blows my mind. They say that these stars are quintillion miles away, right? And they gave us that blurry, horrible image of 3i Atlas. Now, granted, nothing really happened with 3i Atlas, but the point is they couldn't get a good picture of it. It's because all these images they're showing us of Jupiter and Venus and Mars and stars, it's all AI generated. They've had AI since the 90s, you know?
Light doesn't travel endlessly. It dissipates with distance. And these, maybe they're just in that impenetrable dome that doesn't allow us to get to the waters. You know, the waters that are separated by the firmament. Funny how the star changes color. Why do stars change colors? Do you know how far that's supposed to be? Do you want to know how far that's supposed to be? That's the star Regulus, and it's 79 light years away. Do you know what a light year is? A light year is 6 trillion miles. So to know how far that star is away, you got to multiply. I give it the benefit of the doubt, said it's a little closer. 77 light years times 6 trillion miles.
Damn.
And that's the number you get. You think you can see that far? That's hilarious. And this isn't even that far. They tell us some stars that we can literally see with our naked eye are 1,270 light years away. Do you see the number? Do you see the number that is? Do you see how many zeros? That's quadrillion. That's thousands, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, quadrillions, 7 quadrillion miles away. And you can see it with your bare eye without zooming it. Come on, people. You've been taught wrong. We've all been taught wrong. And it's time we all start paying attention and figuring these things out. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to not believe what they tell us and start looking with a critical eye. Start questioning things. Start saying, why doesn't that make sense, instead of just accepting it? Look up at the night sky. It's all right here. It spins around us. We're not moving. We're stationary and flat and covered, enclosed. You can't have the expanse in the vacuum of space next to a pressurized system. Literally, the second law of thermodynamics says you can't have that. So you're going against real, provable science and then trying to just believe stuff that can't be proved. Gravity is a theory. It's never been proven. You know why? Because electrostatics and buoyancy and density are actually like thousands of times stronger than what they claim gravity is. Do you know gravity isn't even mass attracts mass anymore? It's like the bending and warping of space-time. It's nonsense. And I'm here just trying to help you figure it out. I'm saying, look and think. Don't just believe that they go to space because they take a parabolic curve around the curvature of the Earth. No, that's going up and it's coming down. Most of them in the Bermuda Triangle. That's why they made up nonsense about it being scary, so they don't go find the graveyard of NASA dumping grounds. And when you see this, that my very oldest, dearest friend sent me, and you're told that's going to space, just look. It's just flying across, just like an airplane, except it's leaving some trails to make you all think it's mystical and it's going to space. Come on, people. Start using this. Start questioning things. And realize that this might be the last thing telling you the truth, and they're trying to make you think it's all metaphorical and nonsensical, and they mock anyone who believes it. Just like they did in The Simpsons with Ned Flanders. They made the biggest losery, dorky guy in the world the one that believes in the Bible. That's propaganda. And we all bought it, myself included. And then I started using this. But of course, all this is for entertainment purposes. I'm sure that, you know, the writer of the Bibles, they were real dumb. They just didn't understand things back in the day because there was no technology. I mean, they were so dumb they couldn't even figure out how to build the pyramids, which we can't even come close to replicating with our technology today. We're not the smartest that have ever existed. And you didn't come from an ape into a caveman. We've always been humans, and we've always had technology because technology comes from the fallen angels. It comes from the angelic realm, and they gave humans technology. They traded it for their women. They mated with the women. They created the giants. There have been giants here. There have been dragons here, and you don't live on a spinning ball, people. It's time we all figure this out, not just the few of us seeking. We should all be seeking the Most High, in fact. Entertainment only. Have a nice day. Oh, and sorry if I'm burning your eyes with this amazing retina-burning golf shirt. I just got back from golf.
Afternoon, Commissioners. Today I'd like to bring to your attention a potential fraud on an enormous scale happening in your county. There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to grossly mislead the public about astronauts being on the International Space Station. During interior ISS scenes from NASA's own live feed, the use of wires, harnesses, green screens, and virtual reality have been detected to achieve the appearance of a weightless environment. Examples of this include astronauts fading in and out of the screen, green screen glitches, grabbing objects that aren't really there, pulling on invisible wires, getting tangled in their harnesses, and even astronauts appearing out of thin air. This begs the obvious question. If they're really up there, why are they using Hollywood techniques to fake the footage? Now, unfortunately, I can't show you these clips in here today, but I will be sending them to you. Outside the International Space Station, during spacewalks, air bubbles have been recorded on numerous occasions. How is it possible for air bubbles to be present in the vacuum of space? I once questioned astronaut Scott Kelly about this phenomenon. His body language and answers only created more questions. In 2013, astronaut Luca Parmitano nearly drowned during a spacewalk when his helmet filled with water. This happened again just last year. Air bubbles, helmets filling with water, and drowning. Are they in space or are they underwater? Now what's really interesting is that they train for spacewalks in an underwater pool with a complete ISS replica. Now surely they aren't filming these spacewalks in an underwater pool and then editing them to appear if they're in space, because that sure would be something, wouldn't it? I'm calling on the Brevard County Commissioners to open a full investigation into NASA's fraudulent practices and use of taxpayer dollars. It costs NASA $3 billion per year to operate the ISS, and if they don't have a darn good explanation as to why they're faking these videos, I and the public would like a darn good explanation as to where our tax money is going. And if they are indeed faking the funk, it is our duty to expose and eliminate this fraudulent and astronomically wasteful ISS program. And look, I know what you're all thinking. The NASA is part of the federal government, and you're just county commissioners. Even if what I'm saying is true, what can you do? But let me remind you, not only is this happening in your county, as public officials, you have the platform and the ability to make a statement or hold a press conference, alerting the public, state, and federal authorities to investigate further. You have the power to start the conversation. Video evidence of everything I described today will be emailed to you all, and I truly hope we can get to the bottom of this. I look forward to the day that $3 billion annual budget is put towards our veterans, our homeless, maybe some of that mental health stuff the young lady just spoke about, and the revitalization of Brevard County.
That dude's a patriot. I'm going to cut that because I don't want to get copywritten more than we're already getting copyright penalties. But dude's a patriot, modern day patriot. But that's the end of the video. I hope you guys learned something. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, because obviously you liked it, comment, and subscribe. I'm Jay Tally. This is Jay Tally Reacts, and we out.
Yeah. Tally. Home manifest. Want it, I see it, I got it, I get it, no question. Home manifest. They send me protection from all of these hitters. They stealing my blessings like, raising them.